We're going to do the way too early segments. Do we want to start with the 2025 draft, or do we want to start just like pulling out of thin air some predictions for next year? Who makes the playoffs, who doesn't?
Oh, God.
We'll do prospects then. Got it.
I don't know. Because, I mean, the prospects one's going to go longer anyways. May as well finish with that.
Okay. Well, then let's set the table here. Way too early predictions. Like, this is just kind of shooting from the hip. We're not saying who's going to win the Stanley Cup. It's more, who are the teams that were in the playoffs last year that you think are going to slide? Like, who do you think is going to ascend, descend? Like, we're just going to kind of take individual teams. We can go division by division. We can go conference by conference, whatever you're more comfortable with. Do we want to say, like, hey, who in each division, like, is wild card, is like fringe, is out? Or
I gotta tell you, I don't even know why I bother with the NHL website. It's the worst thing that's happened to hockey. I just
the Capitals buying cap friendly is probably worse.
I guess so. I need to pull up the actual standings this year.
Oh, sure. Well,
yeah, I don't know why would NHL.com have that?
But no, yeah, you got to Google that shit because it goes right to playoffs.
Fucking believable. Fuck this website.
Yeah.
All right, I got it up. You want to start East or West?
Let's go East. Let's go East. And do we want to go like just East as a whole, or do we want to say Atlantic, Metro? What do you think? We're going division. We're going division.
I was going to say division.
Divisional rankings. So in the East, now I'll start and I'll let you rebuttal because that'll make it easier for you since you seem a little aback from this. So last year we have 4 teams that made the playoffs from the Atlantic: Florida Panthers, Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning, in order. I think that all 4 are probably going to be playoff teams.
I'm not kidding. I'm looking at last year's, the way that the standings, like 1 through 8, I'm like, I would honestly not be shocked if that's exactly how it finished again. Maybe you could swap Toronto, or not Toronto. Actually, maybe you swap Toronto and Boston.
I'm not sold on Washington.
Well, I'm saying you said Atlantic.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, you said you're looking at the top 8. Oh, top 8 from the division. Got it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to shuffle a lot more. So I'll lead with that then, and you can tell me why I'm dumb. I think that the top 2 teams are the Leafs and the Bruins in the regular season. I'm not talking like winning the Stanley Cup, right? I'm talking regular season standings where the seeding comes out. I lean Toronto then Boston, but I could be convinced either way. But I'm going to say Toronto, Boston, and then Tampa, Florida, I could see going either way too. But I actually think that 5 teams get in from the Atlantic and only 3 get in from the Metro. Which of the 4 teams that missed last year do you think I have getting in? It's in order after that. It was Detroit Red Wings, Buffalo Sabres, Ottawa Senators, Montreal Canadiens.
Do you have Ottawa?
Wow, you and Horror Docs both guessed it. Ottawa. I think Ottawa has a real chance to make a playoff push. Now, they'll probably get smothered in the first round. That's fine. I think that they have, and I'm not saying that Olmark is the be-all, end-all for them, but it's still going to be a noted upgrade from what they've had in recent years. I think the whole Chychrun experiment was just like the wrong fit, square peg, round hole. I still think Chychrun's a solid defenseman. And it's weird where like it feels like the last couple years he's been overrated, and now it feels like he's extremely underrated as he goes to Washington. Like he could really have a resurgent year there, but that's beside the fact. You got a bunch of young guys getting a little bit more experience. Their forward depth has never been in question. Their defensemen are all 1 year older. Their top 4 looks the part if they can stay healthy and if they can take a small step. I really believe in the Ottawa Senators making the playoffs this year. And I honestly think that and you've been saying this for a while, but I'm on board now. The Yzer plan doesn't exist.
Yep.
I think Steve Yzerman just like doesn't want Detroit to have good things. He makes really weird decisions over and over. I'm very confused. I don't get it. Aside from drafting, he makes really weird decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was actually just about to say, so I forgot about some of the other additions that Ottawa actually had made outside of just like Olmark. Like, obviously, love the Perron addition.
Yes, Perron. I think that is a phenomenal move, especially to usher on some of the younger kids.
And like Amadio, I actually like that, like having that guy in their middle six as well. Like, it was crazy in Vegas. He would just pop up and score some huge goals for them. And it didn't really matter what line he was on. He's not a guy that you are asking to like drive offense, but like in terms of like secondary and tertiary offense, like not a bad guy. And he's been around forever. Like, he plays their brand of hockey too, where he likes to play big boy hockey. And on the back end, I actually completely forgot, but I love the Nick Jensen edition. He is a fucking solid defenseman. Like, very quiet, does his job, but he, like, when he's on the ice, generally speaking, the puck is not going in your net. And like, that's the kind of guy that I think really they could have used with their younger defensemen. Like, Hamonic has been fine there, but like, you're never, I don't think at any point in his career is like, yeah, no doubt, like top 4 D man, like whatever. Like, they had a bunch of young kids, and then just like they made they tried the Chychrun thing. He was fine, but like,
that's the perfect spot though, because you put the two next to each other. Chychrun is better than Jensen. Like, objectively, he is a better player. Jensen is a way better fit.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like, healthy Sanderson all year too. Like, I think he might have a fucking monster year. And again, like, their Achilles heel outside of just being chaotic 100% of the time was like the goaltending. They actually have historically had like some good goaltending, just for whatever reason. They would just shit the bed every fucking year, and you're like, Jesus Christ. But I actually, so now that I think about it, like the second you started talking, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I actually put them behind the Lightning. And then other than that, people can say what they want about Detroit.
Do you think Buffalo's frisky? I'm just very confused about them. Like, they are, you look up and down their roster and it all looks good, but then you look at the whole picture and it's like, I don't know.
The collective unit, I just can't.
Weird. It's where like the individual parts are greater than the sum of those parts.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like, I can't tell how I feel about. Well, I mean, the trade 1-for-1, I hated McLeod for Savoy. Like, I hate that deal 1-for-1. At the same time, kind of look at it with
it makes
Buffalo.
Sense.
It's like
I hate it.
Different. Yeah, it's like, so that, who knows? Like, we'll see what type of role he gets there, and if he fits that. So when you look at Buffalo too, like, what's their style?
Their style is Buffalo.
They're like, fuck. Their style's fuck it.
Their style is they will beat you up if you ask for ranch instead of blue cheese, which is why I've been beaten up a few times.
Yeah, and I mean, they're really gonna need, like, if Bowen Byram can stay healthy and have a fucking solid year, that could be a big time difference maker. But at the same time, it's like, even then, like, when I look at the young defensemen, it's like, man, like, you want all 4 of these guys on the same fucking team?
I think Byram's getting
look at their goaltending. But then again, look at their fucking goaltending. James Reimer. Like, what the fuck?
What?
And Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Huh? Is James Reimer?
They signed him.
What?
I don't know if they still have to sign UPL, but that's like UPL and James Reimer, I think, unless I'm forgetting about other fucking goals.
Yeah, you are.
Oh yeah. Well, they weren't sure if he's going to be in the NHL to start because, like, that did not go well.
Sure, but like, majority of the year, I gotta imagine he's there.
I would imagine.
Like, I think Reimer's insurance.
I would hope so.
Is Reimer on a 2-way or not?
I have no idea if it's on a 2-way.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But yeah,
I don't know. I just don't. Dude, I mean,
how mad are you going to be when Montreal gets like a top 4 pick next year?
Yeah, I'm going to throw up in my mouth again
because they're not a bad team either.
Yeah, I mean,
but they're just among the Eastern Conference teams, they're towards the bottom somehow.
Yeah,
and in this division, it's unfortunate, but they're at the bottom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be super fun. Okay, well there's the Atlantic. We agree for the most part. We agree on Ottawa. Seems like you disagree a little bit. I think Florida is going to have a little bit of the hangover, not just from winning, but 2 years in a row of full postseason going to the Cup Finals. Then there is the winning. They lost players. I'm sure they'll find a way to bring people in on cheap deals, but like it's gonna be a regular season step back. Come playoffs, when they get in, watch out. But regular season, there's gonna be lulls and spots where they take the foot off the gas. I really do think regular season Toronto and Boston both look really good, as long as Swayman actually signs and stays healthy.
Yeah, seriously, fuck my life.
Yeah. And hey, at least he's got that delicious dish.
That's a good point.
For that reason alone, I might come visit you again. That was so good.
A+. I like that was it. Like, yeah, I guess I could fucking suffer through that again. Fucking have the Swayman over at Tresca.
And the guy had the audacity to tell me that he was there the night before. Motherfucker.
That was actually kind of fucked up on his part.
What a dick. He was a really nice guy, and then he did that. I'm like, you're kind of an asshole. All right.
All right. Fuck flies. All right. Yeah,
Metro. We've got a whole lot of question marks. This is the weirdest one for me, hands down. And it feels weird to say because I'm always the one that's very cautious, like over projecting a team before you see it. Is there any way you can not put the Devils at number one?
I was like, am I about to put Devils first? I think so.
I feel really bad. I feel wrong about it, but it feels right at the same time. So last year we had the President's Trophy Fugazi New York Rangers, and then followed by Carolina Hurricanes, New York Islanders, Washington Capitals to round out the playoff teams. Out of those four, how many do you think make it back into the playoffs?
Man. It's so weird. I feel like I like the Devils the most on paper of all these teams, especially when you consider the fact that they go out, they have Markstrom, they bring in Pesci. I like as like a 6-7 Kovacevic from Montreal, really like that. Brendan Dillon gives them something that they didn't have on the back end while also not sacrificingly over. Like Brendan Dillon's a fucking good hockey player, so I like that addition for them too. Plus, Dougie Hamilton, in theory, should be fully healthy again. Then he was out pretty much the whole year. And I mean, I'm so curious to see what it looks like when Paul Cotter's given a bigger role. Because I think he's going to get consistent actual middle 6 minutes. And he's a legit fucking player. Like, he's fucking good. So I really like the Devils on paper.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure the season will start.
Everyone that's joining us live, throw into the comments here where you think the Devils finish in the Metro this year. Just really curious for like a short poll. All right, so we're aligned on that. How do we feel about the Rangers and the Hurricanes? I feel like personally both are playoff teams. I don't know how great I feel about either of them though, like holistically speaking. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I look at like oh my god, I triggered that. Just smack the microphone, catching a fly. Yeah, I mean, like when you look at the Rangers, like first of all, they've got all the noise now with Trouba going on. Their fucking captain, like in New York, that's going to be a massive fucking storyline the entire time, whether they like it or not, and whether they want to admit it or not. That absolutely is on people's minds all the time. Like that's just that.
They're in New York
City.
It's
like, it's outside noise. It's like, bro, yeah, the second you have 1 foot out of MSG, you're hearing about it. But then you look at the additions up front, like Sam Carrick, like another guy to fight too, like whatever. And like,
dude, Rempe's been training.
So. I know that could be scary, dude. He might fucking kill people.
Dude,
I don't know how I feel about.
Really let it go.
I know that was insane. Dude, I like Riley Smith a lot as a hockey player. I don't know how I feel about the addition in New York. Like, I don't know how much a guy like Riley. Yeah, exactly. Like, where is he going to play? How much does that really move the needle for him? The one thing I will say is I think Lafreniere is going to pop off. Like, he looked solid the second half of the season and the playoffs. He was a stud.
Like, I thought he looked really good this year. So what is like the next level for him? What is pop off? Like, are we saying he's hitting like 80 to 90 points, or what's pop off?
Yeah, I mean, if they let him if they do what they did the second half of the year and the playoffs and let him play top six and give him a legit role, like, I could see him hitting a point per game.
Okay.
And I mean, like, but that's the one thing that when I look at the roster, I'm like, yeah, I bet he takes yet another step and has like legit top 6 point per game upside. And I mean, the back end's pretty much the same, I think, right? But they signed Scan, I actually like that kid, but I don't know if he's going to play at all.
It's the same with the big asterisk of what the heck happens with Trouba, whether he stays or not. Like, it's still what becomes of that. Like, does he play better because he wants to prove he needs to stay? Does it totally fuck his game?
He gets more angry. Does gets suspended more, like, or at all, I guess, really. But
it's just weird because it's a President's Trophy team that didn't get better. Like, if anything, they got a little bit worse. You've got a goalie that had an incredible year where it's like, he's not going to do better. At best, he's going to do what he did, if not regress to the mean a little bit. Again, playoff team, more than likely. I really, right now, I'm toying with having them at number 3.
Yeah, I think 3 is where I would put them.
Okay, we're in agreement then. So it's 2 Carolina for you?
Yeah. I said
got worse, but I still
really like the players they brought in.
And they brought in okay guys. Go off on it.
I really like the additions of guys like Carrier. I like, for whatever reason, isn't Carolina a team where like you kind of feel like Tyson Jost like figures it out somehow? Like, I don't know why, but like it just feels
they brought him in.
I just like in my head I'm like, he feels like such a fucking hurricane, I think. I don't know. Maybe not. The same thing with Roslovic too. Like, I think just like they added something in their middle 6 where it was like they are no shit middle 6 guys with upside. And like, again, a guy like Carrier, I think he's like a sneaky bottom 6 stud. Yeah. And I like the deal they bring him in on. And when you look at the back end again, like, first of all, I mean, it doesn't make a difference from last year, but I love the contract that they get slated on again. But Sean Walker, I think, is like, if you're going to lose Pesci, a guy like Sean Walker, who also not only is he a stud, he stays healthy, which I love that about him. I like that replacement right there. Like, I think at this point, given what we've seen the last like 2 years or so between the two, like with him and versus Pesci, like I kind of like just like having Pesci out and like a guy like Walker stepping in.
Yeah. What about the Ghost Bear Pig? That feels like a move that you make if you need a power play quarterback, which they don't.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like towards the end of the year they were really not as thrilled with Brent Burns, which I thought was interesting. And I mean, like, Goss's Bear was fine for them too. I think you have like 2 legit power play guys there. And like realistically, once Hamilton wasn't there anymore, they kind of did go to like not necessarily just having one guy out there for 2 minutes, even though I'm sure Brent Burns would love to be out there for like 2 minutes and then have someone take a penalty and then also kill it. Like, he is a maniac. I don't know how he does it.
If not, what's the point of the Walmart parking lot workouts? Like, why is
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which is still so funny to me.
It's awesome.
Right. I just like, and I'm curious to see if like, and also, by the way, healthy Svechnikov could, because he was not Svechnikov. You know what I mean? Like, they did what they did. They were as good as they were with him being like 2 levels below the way that he usually plays.
Out and then 2 levels below. Yeah, completely.
Right, exactly.
Right. Nope, that's a big X factor for them. And I do think they've still got the structure. They play the game the right way. And their main guys are still there. And they will be a playoff team for the next couple of years. It's just they're not like the last couple of years I have had them as a front runner for the cup. I do not have them there now, so this will be the year that they go. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, everyone knows bet whatever I don't say. So.
Fair point here from Lethal Migraine too. We got to see what the contracts look like for Seth Jarvis and Marty Necas, which Necas is gone, dude. He's not staying.
He must be.
Like he doesn't. It's too late. They have the money and they're like, hey, do you want to come? And he's like, no, we could have figured this out a while ago. Just like Gensel. Like they came to him at the last hour. They're like, okay, we'll give you the money you want. And he's like, fuck you. I've already envisioned life on a beach. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we'll see. Okay. So if there's one or two, let's say the Atlantic just has a complete turnover year and things go poorly, or they all cannibalize each other and it levels them all to the middle. If they get two teams that get wild cards, and again, remaining teams that made the playoffs last year, New York Islanders and Washington Capitals, within a couple of points of them were the Pittsburgh Penguins and Philadelphia Flyers, New Jersey Devils, who we already talked about as being the number one team, and then Columbus Blue Jackets. Who are the two teams you look at as having a shot at, or the best shot at wild card spots?
You said that includes the
Devils are out. So it's Islanders, Capitals, Penguins, Flyers, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I said it before. I like what the Capitals did. Even with a guy like Dubois being a pretty big gamble, I still like the addition of a guy like Mangiapane. I really like the Matt Roy on the back end there. I can't not appreciate the fact that they're spending a total of I think less than $2 million on a couple of pretty good goalies. I love that.
That's the one thing I do like. The rest
and
of
again,
it weird.
The Chychrun thing too. I like him there, especially because I just look at the moves that they made and the gambles that they're making with some of the young guys that are there that are going to have bigger roles this year. God, what's his fucking name?
Luc Dubois.
Oh my God, Hendrix Lapierre.
Oh sure. See, for me, yes, they have the ceiling to get in. There's a real low floor here too. And I'm somewhere in the middle. I probably have them being 5 or 6. I don't know. They're just like the Sabres for me. I like a lot of the individual players they added. I'm very confused about where the fits are for a lot of them. It could all click and work perfectly, and I could look like an idiot. I don't know. They are better on paper. On ice, I'm not sure I believe it. They're going to have to prove me wrong for the first month or two of the season before I'll change my mind. I think Islanders...
How much of it does also depend on Ovi? How much does it, if Ovechkin's I'm going to score 50 again?
Yeah.
Because...
he could.
That was great. That's what I mean.
Was awful until it wasn't, and then he still put up 30 goals. So it's if he can strap that together, if he can get back in the gym this summer, not rock the double dad bod, then maybe. But yes, you're it is right. Ovi definitely is a big piece of it. And you know what? If we had a healthy Nicholas Backstrom, I'd be talking a completely different game here, but we don't. So I'm not.
How funny is it? How funny is it though that I mean, not incorrectly, everybody, all of us were man, Ovi really did his last legs. Oh, what do you finish with this year? 30. Oh, what? And wow, what a shitty year for Alexander Ovechkin. 30 fucking goals.
Yeah. Nope. I'm really curious to see how he starts the year. That is going to be interesting. Islanders are one for me. I think they're a gimme just with how they play. The future of their team is not great, but they are a good team. I think that they will do enough.
They're one legit addition, dude. I love Anthony Duclair.
Yeah.
like the contract he got, I think it's a bargain for a guy like him. Like even in San Jose, obviously he didn't have crazy numbers because it's San Jose. But when you looked at what he was working, it was like, man, he still put up decent enough offense. He probably knows and can read every team in the league's defense because he's played for half of them. It's great. The speed between him and a guy like Barzal is so fun to me. I love that.
Is it weird to you? And I feel weird for feeling weird, but him getting a 4-year deal just like felt wrong to me. Like that's just not what Anthony Duclair does. He doesn't spend more than a year or two in one given spot. It just felt strange to me that he finally got. Yeah. Of course, it's Lou that gave it to him because he gives out 7s to everyone. So he should have been offended, if anything. The biggest thing for me with the Islanders is, especially now that the trade was consummated between Ottawa and Boston, this is my favorite goaltending tandem. Like that alone can carry you through a regular season. And yeah,
and Sorokin was bad. Sorokin was bad, and there's no way he
can't be that bad again. I still think he is a top 3 goaltending talent in the league, and he's gonna have a bounce back year. Varlamov right behind him is great. This is a team that is just going to be a pain in the ass to play every single time. So I think Islanders are in. You think Capitals are in. Do you also think Islanders are in for if we're picking 2 wild cards? Or where are you at with the rest of them? Because most years
I think it's them and then it's the rest of that division.
Right. You think it's those 2? Capitals and Islanders. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I agree. I think this is the first year that I won't even make an argument for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't think they have a shot in hell.
Yeah.
They had a Hart Trophy season from Sidney Crosby last year, and they couldn't fucking get in when it was a dog shit, easy race to win in the Metro. Pittsburgh is going to miss the playoffs. And hey, in a little bit here, you're going to be telling me about some of the players I can get excited about because Dubas ain't going to be trading firsts. So, yeah, it's not great. And I'm really interested to see if the Flyers were just like the biggest fugazi last year. Like, are they going to be a competitive team or like was last year just complete mirage? I don't know. We'll see. And go Dean. Hopefully you and Freddie can do a little bit better with the Jackets. But okay, that's the East. Central, which this one, I got to get your opinion because this is a question we got on this week's mailbag for Fellowship of the Rink. By the way, everyone go subscribe, Fellowship of the Rink, anywhere you get your podcasts. Someone asked, does the Central basically have a lock on both wild card teams this year? Joe Smith, very much agreed. I very much disagree. So I want you to break the tie before we even talk about which teams, or maybe we've got to work through this first.
Yeah, I don't see how you look at any of them, like, yeah, lock. Like, I think
it's more like, do you think that the Central gets the 2 wild cards versus the Pacific? That's what the question is.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I don't see it as a lock at all. Like, no.
I feel like both divisions get one of them. I feel pretty confident in that.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is I gotta pull up to make sure I'm not forgetting about any moves. I fucking hated what the Kings did, if I remember correctly. That's not true. I am the one that liked the Fogle thing.
They did good and they did bad, and some of the bad was to counteract some of their previous bad. So you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Kemper looks like.
Yeah, the goaltending is the big concern for them. But nice bit of business for Quentin Byfield, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, Central last year, Dallas Stars, who led the Western Conference, followed by Winnipeg Jets, Colorado Avalanche, Nashville Predators for the teams that made the playoffs, followed by St. Louis Blues, Minnesota Wild, Arizona Coyotes, now Utah Hockey Club / Utah Yeti, and then Chicago Blackhawks. Z, which teams, if any, are you willing to say are surefire playoff teams? Because I'm looking at, I guess, 2 if I'm like putting my life on it.
Yeah. I think they're going to be. I don't think they're as good as they were last year, but I have Dallas making it again. I really don't like what they did on the back end. Like, it still doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, loved what Nashville did outside of the contract they gave Brady Shea.
Agreed.
But I mean, when you look at the other, I mean, that is some major upgrades for them.
And for this season, contract is irrelevant for Brady Shea. Like, he is an upgrade. But I agree with you. The contract was a little questionable for me, but everything else, like, masterclass. Well done, Barry Trotz.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm with you so far. 1, 2, Dallas, Nashville. Those are the only 2 that I can say with, like, pure confidence. Those are playoff teams, no question.
Yeah, I mean, like, Winnipeg essentially did nothing.
They got worse.
Like, substantially.
And who knows what the coaching shift will do. And, dude, I'll say the same thing I said for Igor Shesterkin. Hellebuck just had a hell of a year. Do I think he'll still be a top-tier goalie? Yes. Is there going to be some regression to the mean? You bet your ass there's going to be. So that already is a ding for them. They worry me. Colorado Avalanche can't even fill out a full roster current state with their contract tie-ups. And while the top end is great, the bottom is questionable and their goaltending is questionable. So, like, is Colorado probably my number 3 team? Yeah. But to say, like, with full confidence that they're in, I don't even know if I'm there, which a lot of people would probably get angry and disagree. But
yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty confident that they get in. I mean, at the end of the day, they still have Cale Makar. They have Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
Right. But they certainly did not get better. They probably definitely got worse.
I do like that they re-upped Middlestat.
Yeah.
He works nicely there for their 2C. So then what? We got those 3 that I think we can agree are the top 3, right?
Yeah.
Then what the hell happens? Let's lead with this. Are we both in agreement that Chicago Blackhawks considerably better, but the only team that we know for a fact won't make the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay, so Blackhawks, number 8, we're moving them out. We have then 4 teams left. Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues, Minnesota Wild, Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, I could go either way with Utah. I could see them riding the energy.
That's my sleeper one, man. I like them this year.
Yeah, I mean, and like the trades they made were obviously awesome. Major
they were a
upgrades.
good team last year.
Yeah, I mean, until it fell off, but
okay, did that happen to coincide with all the bullshit from Morello? They are going to be amped up, new arena, new fans. They've got a blue line for the first time in a decade. And it's not like a complete blue line, but leaps and bounds better than what it was, adding guys like Sergachev and Marino. Their young forwards take one more step. I'm really excited to see if Logan Cooley can pop a little bit this year. I'm not saying point a game guy, but like I really want to see him take that next step. I think that that's a team that could vie for a wild card.
Yeah, no, I think of the teams left, combined, like obviously
the move over Blues.
The move to Utah paired with the huge additions that they made and like the young stars that are there getting another year under their belt. They're the team that you're most excited about. I think if they can come together and gel as a team with those additions that they made and like embrace the full change quickly, yeah, I would have them right there vying for that wild card spot. It's always weird. Like I never know what to make of like teams that make a ton of changes and how much to like
Sure.
how much to predict based on like just the like even stuff like vibes alone. Like I mean, the Vegas thing's never gonna happen again. Like that'll never happen. Like that was
so
never gonna happen again.
Here's my stance though, because I agree with you. Like you can't like I think Nashville is the better example of like don't overreact because we got to see it on the ice first, even though I think that it fits perfectly. Utah, they had a dog shit blue line. Period. End of statement. They just added 2 real players. It's not going to be worse. It can only be better. Their forward group didn't change. Their goaltending didn't change. So if anything, they got better on the back end. We just don't know how much better.
Well, it's going to depend.
Undoubtedly better.
How healthy, like, can Sergachev stay too? Like, I mean, that's going to be a big question, I think, too. So we'll see. But I mean, the team that you easily of all these teams left, by far, they're the most excited.
Yeah.
That like you're probably like excited to watch that more than any other teams left.
Yeah. Let's remove them then. Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues, Minnesota Wild. Rank them.
God, I think of all of them like so similarly. Like again, like Winnipeg was phenomenal last year. That team is definitely worse.
Yep.
And like you said, there's no like it would be insane if Hellebuck did what he did regular season again. Coaching change still don't like I think they got legit worse and they still have a bunch of question marks with the team as a whole in general. So like I don't feel great about them. Minnesota, I actually don't really know what to make of them anymore, to be honest with you. I actually have no clue. Like couldn't tell you. I still like they might be very similar, aka like missing out on the playoffs with like 3 or 4 games left. They could get into the wild card. I definitely don't have them top 3 of the division. That's just like where I am with them. St. Louis, I don't know. I feel the same as I did last year with them. But I mean, if Cairo, Thomas, and Buchnevich can go off again, then there you go.
What a weird fucking contract, though, right?
The Buchnevich one? I love Buchnevich. I love that play.
You love the contract?
Oh, God. What was the actual number? It was 8 years, right?
Dude, I think it was like a 7x8 or an 8x8.
Yeah, I think that's fine with what he brings.
Really?
Yeah. He's been fucking so good for them.
I'm not questioning that, but all right. I'll defer to you on that one. I'm skeptical, but I'll go for it.
All
right, so talk me out of this. I got Blues at number 7.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. To be honest,
okay. So then when we figure out 6, here's the tough part. I already said I've got Utah as one of the wild cards. Minnesota Wild and Winnipeg Jets. One of them for me is going to end up at number 6 in this division. And I can't make – I don't know. They're so neck and neck for me.
I think I like the Wild more than the Jets, honestly. And I know it doesn't sound right because I'm pretty sure Winnipeg just kicked the shit out of them this year too.
And I get it. Like, dude, last year, most people had Winnipeg not making the playoffs. They surged.
And then got easily slaughtered.
Go back the other way. Dude, I believed way too hard in them. They broke me.
I know.
I really thought they could win in the first round. God damn it. Yeah. I don't know. That's my toughest thing. I'm
taking Minnesota over them.
Okay, so there you go. I'll tell you what. I'll yield on that. I will give you Winnipeg's at 6 then. Utah versus Minnesota. Make a final decision. I'm saying Utah 4, Minnesota 5. Tell me why you agree or disagree.
Well,
this caveat, because it's the way too early predictions, if we get meaningful minutes from Ogren, Height, or Haight, like if one of them slots into the second line and changes the dynamic up top, I might have a completely different opinion. Just throwing that in there.
Yeah. I think Utah they're just more exciting to me, so I guess I'll just barely put them over.
So we're pretty.
I don't know
are we lockstep then? Are we going Dallas, Nashville, Colorado, Utah, Minnesota, Winnipeg, St. Louis, Chicago? Like, do we completely agree?
Yeah, at this point, that sounds probably about right.
All right, the first one that we completely agree on for the way too early predictions. Central Division, lock it in. That means our last one here, the Pacific Division. Boy, this is a volatile one. Like, I think we'll probably both be on the same page with who's going to be number. Maybe. I think we'll agree on the top two. Is that fair to say? Maybe not. So. 1-2, Edmonton, Vancouver. In some order. Oh, he disagrees. Give it to me.
No, I'm not saying yet if I disagree or not.
Okay. Well, for everyone listening, last year we had the Vancouver Canucks, followed by Edmonton Oilers, Los Angeles Kings, Vegas Golden Knights for the playoff teams. Non-playoff teams, in order, Calgary Flames, Seattle Kraken, Anaheim Ducks, San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, no, lock it. I like Vancouver too.
I'm even toying with Vancouver 1. Toying with it. I like what they did this offseason. Besides, I'm not the biggest fan of the overall contract for what's the defenseman's name? Now I'm spacing on it. Doesn't matter. Guy they brought in from Detroit. Now I'm gonna get pissed.
Oh. Wait.
Ronan, yeah. I like the player. I don't know how I feel about the contract, but
yeah. He's not making the team, but I would love it if their 2022 second or third rounder, Elias Pettersson, defenseman from Sweden. I would love it if he made the team. Would be a big fan of that.
So fun. No. We need him to be traded.
Yeah, true.
I really like their forward group though, and I think their blue line is good enough.
Yeah,
and I'm just a big fan of their goaltending. So yeah, but for now, way too early. We'll agree Edmonton, then Vancouver. Then shit just gets crazy because Vegas Golden Knights have been hemorrhaging this offseason. A lot of guys leaving. Like, they still got the big names, but a lot of them have health risks. LA Kings, you mentioned during the Central discussion, like, questionable offseason as well. Calgary Flames have pretty much embraced the tank, even though they're not doing a very good job of accumulating assets. Seattle Kraken, better on paper. We both hated their offseason moves. Anaheim Ducks are just the most confusing organization on the planet with all of the talent they've accumulated, and no one knows what they're going to do. And San Jose Sharks, kind of like the Chicago Blackhawks, better, still going to be the worst team in the division. So
yeah, 100%.
We agreed there. San Jose Sharks.
Yep. Yeah.
So where do you lead? I got my opinion for 3, but I want to hear what you're thinking.
I'm going Vegas still.
I am too. So they scare me. They are very brittle, but their top end talent is crazy. But they lost a lot of depth, but their blue line is sick. And they put a lot of faith into their goaltending, sending away in the middle of signing autographs, or no, it was like an hour before signing autographs, sending away, man, I'm bad on names today.
Logan Thompson.
That's Fury. Logan Thompson. But yes, they are a team that if things shake out the right way, they could win this division, and I wouldn't be shocked. They could also be out of the playoffs, and I wouldn't be shocked. Like, they have the highest ceiling, lowest floor of all of these teams. So
yeah, and I mean goaltending is going to be interesting to watch, especially when you look at the combo of Aiden Hill, Ilya Samsonov, and then the two no-name guys.
Good value, though, on Samsonov, like you mentioned right when it happened.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be very interested to see what it looks like outside of Toronto. Because, I mean, by the end of that, it was just fucking in classic Toronto fashion. Get bad on the way out. But they still have a defense core that allows almost nothing. Like the fact that you have Shea Theodore, the minivan man, Alexander Pietrangelo, and then like even a guy on like your third pair, like Nick Hague is a solid fucking D-man who can play as number 4 as well. Plus you have the puck moving and like the legit, not like, you know, Norris caliber defending, but Noah Hannafin's a good defensive defenseman too. But his calling card is obviously the transition game and his offense. But he is a more than capable defender overall.
He's a number 3 when, like, on a lot of teams, he's your 2, maybe 1 if you're bad.
Right. And I mean, like, Braden McNabb, a.k.a. like the Easter Island man, like that fucking just absolute stone of a human being, plus like Zach Whitecloud. So they still have a defense core that's just not going to give up a ton of scoring chances anyways. So that they're always going to keep you in there. Plus, I really hope fucking Alexander Holtz gets a legit run. Bruce Cassidy makes me nervous with that, but like he obviously was just never going to like get a fucking look in New Jersey. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. And then a guy like Victor Olofsson, they can just let him eat on the fucking
that one happened quietly too. Like that, there was just like no buzz around it. I am curious. Do you think Brisson can like actually play a role? I agree. Do you think he's ready? Is my question.
Yeah, I think he can play. I just don't know what it's gonna. Again, I watched Bruce Cassidy come in the very beginning, like his first years in Boston, and the young guys popped off. He gave everyone a look. By the time that he was got like his last year, it was like the classic, you cannot play on our team if you don't have at least 400 games in the NHL.
You must be this tall to ride the roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, but thing is, Bruce Cassidy, no matter what team he has, that team will absolutely keep the puck out of the net. And they've got some guys up front that can fucking score. Plus, you're having a full healthy year of Thomas Hertl. Like I always forget that he's there now.
No, but again, but is he healthy? Can we ever get a healthy back from Mark Stone? Jack Eichel, you never know what's going to happen with that neck. Like whatever. The talent, ridiculous. I love all 3 players I just listed. Health scares me because if one of them goes down, the whole thing unravels.
Yeah. Yep. And I still comfortably put them at 3 though.
Also, people forget how like sick Barbashev is with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he is the perfect fit for them. So yeah, all right. We agree on number 3. I feel gross saying LA Kings at number 4. Like I could be talked out of it. Like I could see Seattle beating them out for the 4 spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, on paper this year, I kind of like Seattle more. But I don't know. I also think, again, like Byfield might take yet another step forward, which is scary. Yep. Plus, Kopitar, I think, is just going to be filthy forever. You still have Fiala there. Like, I still love a lot of those players individually. Yeah. Back end,
blue line and goaltending are bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting a ton of eggs in the Darcy Kemper comeback basket, which scares me.
Who's the other goalie?
Phoenix Copley, David Riddick. So I mean, like again, you have 3 guys like, yeah, I could see them being fine.
If one of them kind of figures it out, they'll probably be okay. But
yeah,
okay. So where are you going then? Are you saying LA or Seattle? I'm saying Seattle. Fuck it.
Yeah, I like again. The contracts were borderline psychotic that they threw out there.
Contracts were ridiculous, but this year, remove contracts. They're better.
Man, like I still cannot. I could believe that someone would give Brandon Montour that contract, I guess.
Yeah, I don't like it, but it's not as egregious as
the Stevenson one. I really would have been shocked if there was another team out there that would have thrown that. Like, That's crazy to me. But I mean, again, he's going to make them better this year.
He's a good player. The contract just is very confusing. Very confusing. Very confusing. Say that a million times fast. All right. So we're saying in tandem again, Edmonton, Vancouver, Vegas, Seattle, LA 5.
Yeah.
Then Ducks versus Flames. I'm saying Ducks, even though I have like zero, like that's just like a pure hope. That's a pure hope. They've just got so many talented young players that some of them got to take a step. I don't know. My confidence is super low in saying that. I also feel like Calgary's going full bottom out mode.
Yeah, I mean, like Calgary brought in like Lomberg.
I could actually see Calgary jousting with San Jose, depending on how things shake out, for bottom of the Pacific.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
So, yeah, I'm going to go Anaheim, Calgary, San Jose.
Yep, we're in tandem again. There you go.
So we completely agree on the West. The East, we disagree a little bit, but that's how it works. Holy shit. Look at that. We did it. Got through it.